Hi, my name is Kammy and I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite topics, horses. Specifically, I'd like to teach you today about grooming. It's a very important aspect of owning and riding a horse that everyone should know. If you don't already know, grooming is the act of brushing or cleaning your horse. It's a pretty simple task, but it's a very important one to master because you do it every time you ride, and hopefully even more than that, and because it has tons of benefits for you and your horse. Today, I'm going to teach you about some of the benefits that I know of grooming your horse, and then I'm going to show you all of the tools that you'll need to groom your horse, as well as a diagram of the horse and some important parts of it that you don't want to miss daily. So first, I'll talk to you about the benefits of grooming your horse. I could go on for hours about all of these benefits, but we really don't have the time, so I'm just going to hit all of the basics that I can think of, and then I'll let you look into the rest if you're interested. First of all, grooming can improve the health of your horse. It can do this by increasing blood flow, getting rid of dirt and dander that's trapped under their skin. It can also allow you to get a closer look at your horse every day so that you can look out for any abnormalities in their skin or their coat. You can see how their nutrition is by looking at their body condition, by looking at the quality of their skin or of their hair. You can also look over your horse for any signs of injury or disease that you may have missed or that they may have gotten into while they were out in the paddock overnight or something like that. You can also catch these diseases and injuries early so that you can avoid very costly vet bills, which is the bane of existence for every horse owner. Grooming can also be a great training tool. Since you do it before and after you ride, it's a great time for you to relax and unwind with your horse after a ride, as well as for you to get to know what kind of attitude they're going to have during your ride before you get on, so you can adjust your training tactics. It can also just give you a good time to stand around and bond with your horse and help them relax. And it's a good training tool in that way as well, because then you build a better relationship with your horse and you can work better as a team. So some of that information I already knew just from owning horses, and a lot of it I found from an article titled "The Benefits of Grooming Your Horse Daily" by Anna O'Brien. Now that we've talked about how important grooming is, I'm going to show you the tools that you're going to need to do it. So first of all, if your horse is coming in from the pasture and they're very dirty and muddy, you're probably going to need something like this. This is called a curry comb. It's metal, it's very stiff, and it's got little teeth on it. It's good for making big strokes or little strokes and getting chunks of dirt and chunks of hair, or when your horse is shedding in the springtime, it's good for getting the excess hair off. They also have rubber curry combs, which is basically the same idea. It's just a little bit more gentle on your horse for sensitive skinned horses. After you go over with a curry, you'll want to go in with a stiff brush. Excuse my brushes, they're all kind of dirty because I use them daily. But this is a stiffer bristled brush, and you just kind of flick chunks of hair off and move it towards the end of your horse so you can flick it off. And that you just use small motions and, just flick the hair and dirt right off. And then you'll go in with a softer bristled brush like this one. And this you'll use long strokes. And this kind of helps to move excess oils in your horse's skin around to coat their hair, as well as get rid of smaller dust and dander that might be on them. Now, those brushes you'll only use on the horse's body and perhaps their legs. You don't want to get on sensitive areas of your horse, like you can get on their tummy, but you don't want to get like up in their groin area or on their face with those harder brushes. The soft one you can. But then for smaller areas like their face or more sensitive areas, you can also get a smaller brush like this, which is called a face brush. And it's kind of a middle consistency between the stiff brush and the soft brush. And it's good for getting anything around their eyes or their muzzle, any sensitive and smaller areas on the horse. Then I can also talk about a mane brush. So this is a mane and tail brush. It's kind of just like a regular hairbrush for people. And you would just use it to brush out your horse's mane and tail, get any burrs out, anything like that. And then we can't forget the horse's hooves or their feet. Excuse me, trying to clean my brush. Because that is a very important part of a horse. If you think about it, they're carrying 800 to 1,000 pounds of themselves on, you know, 4 little feet about this big. And then they're also carrying all of your tack and you. So you need to make sure that they don't have any rocks in their hooves or anything like that. So you would use this end of it, kind of looks like a screwdriver, to scrape out any packed in dirt or rocks or debris that's in there. And then you can also brush out their hoof as well. So now that we've talked about the tools that you'll need, I have a diagram here just to show you the parts of the horse. We kind of already talked about it, but the stiff brush and the curry comb and all of those, you would focus mainly here on the back, the barrel, and then on their belly, because that's where your tack is going to go. That's where your saddle and your girth will tie up. So if you're going to be riding and that's why you're grooming, that's where you'll focus your attention. And then you might want to get like in between their legs, in between their back legs, just because that's an area of friction. And if there's burrs or anything trapped in there, you don't want your horse getting a sore from it rubbing. Then you'll also need to focus on the face of the horse, because that's where your bridle is going to be sitting. And I always like to look in my horse's mouth, make sure they don't have any sores before I put a bit in. And then the mane and the tail are kind of just extra. And of course, there's tons of other tools and brushes and all kinds of things that I could show you that I don't have time for more fancy grooming if you're going to a show or something like that. But daily care, you don't really need to worry about that. I've shown you the basics that would be good for any horse to get daily. So, aside from that, you've basically learned everything that you need to know to groom your horse daily and take care of them, make sure that they're healthy. So now that you know all of that, all you need is to go find yourself a horse and put it into practice. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and learned a little something too. Good luck and happy trails.